Hi class, this is Dr. Karsten, and today we are going to go over the Lesson 2 review. This is from Grade 4, Unit 1, and let's get started. So, in this problem it says choose greater than or less than to complete a true comparison for each pair of numbers. And I'm going to explain these letters in a second because I know a few of you asked me about them and I said not to stress over it, we'd go over it in class. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do this the way that I've been teaching you, which is that we're always going to stack these to compare them. You can either stack them, you can place them in a place value table, you can also do them in expanded form. Those are some of the options that we've been exploring together. So I'm going to go ahead and do this pair of numbers right here first. So I want to compare 4,336 with 14,335. Now, I really hope that all of you have noticed that I stacked them on top of each other very carefully. I lined up all my place values. So my ones are over my ones, my tens over my tens, my hundreds over my hundreds, my thousands over my thousands. And here I know there's no 10,000, but if it were, it would be right over the other 10,000. The other thing to pay attention to is that my commas are lined up, and that's a really great way to make sure that you're lining things up carefully. Now remember, we always start on the left side because that's where the greatest place value is. Let me grab a different color marker just so we can be really clear. So if I go ahead and I look at my 10,000s, look, there's 0 10,000s right there. So right away I know that this number, the bottom number, is the larger number. And remember, the alligator eats the larger number. So if I were to draw us an alligator, just remember, the alligator eats the larger number. And then he eats some teeth. He is a hungry alligator, which is why his mouth always opens to the side with the larger number. And there you go. All right, so if I'm looking at this, again, we figured out that this bottom number, 14,335, is larger, so I'm going to make my alligator eat the larger number. And then here's where this comes in. And let me make that a little darker. I don't think that color is very good. And so here's where this comes in, is that I want to choose this is less than, because 4,336 is less than 14,335. This would be going in the same direction as my answer, so I'm going to circle B. So again, whatever your answer is in there, you want to pick the top that matches and then circle that letter for that row. So we'll do another one. So now we are going to compare 6,124, so I'm going to write that right here, 6,124 with 6,024. And again, we're going to start with the place value that's all the way over to the left. So in this case, it's the thousands, and they both have the same thing, so that's not helping me at all. So I'm going to move over one place value, and I'm going to try the hundreds now. So we did the thousands, now we're in the hundreds. Some of you, it might be useful to write 1, 10, hundreds, and thousands on top, just to help you remember what the place values are. So again, we did our sixes. They were the same, so we're moving over one. They didn't help us to find any differences. Now here in the hundreds place, I see that I have a 1 and a 0, and 1 is clearly greater than 0. So now I know that this number on top is the larger number. And so I want to show that this is the larger number by making the alligator eat the larger number. So I'm going to make it open towards that way. See, he's going to chomp that larger number. So now, notice that this one is facing this direction, and that matches this one. The larger number's on the left, or another way of saying it is greater than, because this is greater than that. I'm going to circle C, because that matches this. If you are someone who might get mixed up, I would not mind if you went and you drew like next to them what it stands for. I'm okay with that right now. And then that these would be going the other way. Okay, next one. So let me grab a new colored marker for us. So we're going to do 1,246, and we're going to compare that with 1,264. And when I do that, I'm going to start again way over on the left side. So in this case, let's go ahead and do this. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. I'm going to start in my thousands because that's my largest place value. And when I look, they're the same, so that didn't help me. Now I'm going to look at my hundreds. I move over one. They're the same, so that doesn't help me. So now I move over one. And here, what I notice is that 6 is greater than 4. So since 6 is greater than 4, I now know that this is my larger number. 1,264, this guy. And that's right here. This is my larger number. So I'm going to make the alligator eat the larger number. And then I have to look and see which one does it match. It matches this one. So I'm going to grab F. All right, let's take a look at the last problem here on this page. So we are going to do 83,499, and we are going to compare that with 83,500. So I know probably a lot of you would just be like, well, the 83s are the same, and I have 499, which is less than 500. That's awesome. But let's go step by step for those of you who could really benefit from doing it step by step. So again, I'm going to go ahead and write my ones, my tens, my hundreds, and now it's like a place value chart, to be honest. My thousands and my 10,000s. Remember, we always start on the left, biggest place value. 8s are the same, it didn't help me, so I'm going to move over one, so I go to the thousands. The 3s are the same, so it didn't help me. So now I'm going to move over into the hundreds place. And there, 4 is less than 5, which means that this number is larger. Now I want you really to notice that once I find a place value that's different, I don't continue going over to the right. I stop. Some of you have been drawing circles after that. We don't want to compare the rest of the numbers. Once you find the largest spot where there's a difference, the largest place value with a difference, you're done. So in this case, it was here, it was here, it was there, and for this one, it's right here in the hundreds. So now I just have to show that 83,500 is the bigger number. Ooh, this color doesn't work well as far as I remember. So here we go. And then I have to figure out which one matches, and it matches this one right here. And that's why we would circle that one. All right, let's take a look at the next page. Okay, so here it says, Mrs. Mendez writes the following comparison on the board. 203,421 is greater than 203,000, and then they have these 3 blank spaces. I think that it's a little confusing the way it's written, but each one of these represents a digit. They're saying put a number here, a number here, and a number here. So it's really 1, 2, 3 numbers that we're trying to fill in. I'm going to bring this down here and make it a little more clear for us. And then we'll read the rest of the problem. But I just feel like we could make this better. So we're comparing this number, 203,421, and it has to be larger than whatever this number on the right is. And this is going to be 203,000, just like that side. But now we have to figure out what are the other 3 digits, and that's what these 3 lines are for. Each one of those is a digit. Now let's read the rest of it and see what we're allowed to do. So it says use the digits 2, 4, 6, or 8 only once each. Oh, that's important information. Only once each to write a number that makes the comparison true. One of the digits will not be used. So you see we have 4 digits, but I'm only going to use 3 of them. So we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. I'm going to leave one of them out. Write your answer in the blanks. So what we have to do is we have to think, if we want to make this number smaller than this, what do I know? Well, one thing that I know is that these 3 numbers are the same, so I can't really look at those. Let's take a look at this hundreds place and see, is there a number less than 4? And you know, another thing you could do is you could actually stack them to kind of try things out. So I'm going to write this number in, so I just put that number here. So I have 3 spaces here. These are all the same. So now I'm going to this one. Are any of these numbers small enough? If I put an 8 in there, this number is going to be bigger. If I put a 6 there, this number is bigger. If I put a 4 there, they're going to be equal so far. Let me go for what I know will work. I'm going to use this 2 and put the 2 here. Because now, no matter what I put over here, this is going to be smaller. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to cross this one out because we used it. We're putting it right here. And then quite honestly, I can put any of the other numbers after it and it'll be fine. I'm just going to go for the smallest possible value. I'm going to put 4 next and I'm going to put 6 next. I figure let's go safe. I'm going to make the smallest possible number that I can. Similarly, if I were trying to make the biggest possible number, if this were the other way around, then I would have started with 8 and gone 8, 6, 4. So if I'd wanted to make this side bigger, I would have started with the biggest possible number. But since I wanted to make this side smaller than this side, I went for the smallest number to make it the smallest possible number. All right, that's question number 2. Let's take a look at question 3. So question 3 says, in July, the number of visitors at the zoo is 52,076. So I'm just going to write this. In August, so that was July, I'm going to use a different color to highlight the next one. In August, the number of visitors is 50,000 plus 2,000 plus 400 plus 30 plus 6. Whew, that's a lot. Which comparison of the visitor numbers is correct? Which month has more visitors? So you have to do 2 things. Make sure that you do both of them. We have to do 1 and then 2. We have 2 different things that we have to do for this problem. A lot of you are forgetting to answer the questions. Make sure you answer the correct question. Now, do not do this in your head. Please, 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 please. Don't do this in your head. You're going to get tricked. I saw so many of you guys in the last lesson, lesson 1, get tricked because you didn't do the work. Just do the work. It's not that hard. I'm sure you guys can do it. So here we go. The first thing I have to do is I have to take this number, 52,076, and I want to put it in standard form. So I'm going to do that down here. So actually, let me do it right above it. That's a perfect spot to put it. So 52,000. If I want to write 52,000, I know that that's going in the thousands period because I see a comma right here. So I'm going to write 52 and then put that comma to show that that's what's in my thousands period. It's not 152. It's not 452. It's just plain old 52. Now let's look at what goes in our ones period. It just says 76. Well, if I just write 76, I'm going to have the comma in the wrong space and I'm not going to have the right number of digits. So instead, what I have to realize is that there's no hundreds here. It's just 76. So I have 0 hundreds and I have 76, 7 tens and 6 ones. So that's one of my numbers. So again, 52,000 right there, 76. I didn't say any hundreds, so put a 0 in the hundreds spot, and that's right there. Now let's look at this one. You have a couple different ways of dealing with this one. If you realize that you have zeros, you have 1 digit and then all zeros, you can actually just put those digits in their appropriate place values. But if you do not see that, my friends, then let's be safe and let's do the right thing to be safe. I'm going to take each one of these and I'm going to go ahead and stack them up and add them. And it's a super quick and easy way to do it. So I have my 50,000, I have my 2,000, I have my 400, I have my 30, and I have my 6. And now I can just add them. And when I do, I get 6, 3, 4, 2, 5. And we ended up with 52,436. So now what we have to do is we have to compare them. And I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to see, wow, we have a lot of stuff going on over there. But one thing that I do notice, oh no, even here, I do notice that we have 52,076 a whole bunch of times. And then I see this number, 52,760, that's neither of those numbers. So clearly all of this is all of these numbers over here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that number over here so I can do my own comparison. It's always, oh, you guys can't see that number, sorry. It's always really smart to do your own work and then see which one is the most like it. Otherwise, you're going to get tricked. So I'm going to do my own. So 52,000, and the only reason I was looking over here was to see which side to put it on. 76, and I'm comparing that to this number. So I'm going to write that right here. 52,436. And when I look at these, my 10,000s are the same, my thousands are the same, but my hundreds are different, and 4 is bigger than 0. So now what I know is that the alligator is going to eat the bigger number. But again, the other way that we could do this is we could stack them. And let's really quickly do that. So I'm going to do them both. I'm just going to do them both in orange. So this is the way to always be accurate and always get it right. Not my best stacking job. So those are the same. Those are the same. These are different. My hundreds are different. 400 is bigger than 0 hundreds. So this is my answer right there. Right? So again, 4 is bigger than 0, so this is my answer. This one's bigger. So the alligator's going to eat the bigger number, which it did right there. So now that we have our own answer, let's go up top and see which one is this most like this. And look what I have right here. I have 52,076 is less than 52,436. That looks amazing. Nothing else looks the same. And then it says, August has more visitors than July. Well, let's see. Was the 52,436 August? And it sure was. You can see that that's what it was. So this is the best answer there. All right. We are moving along. Let's go on to problem 4. Oh, that's right. I highlighted that. Okay, so here we go. Lesson 2, continued. Which statements correctly compare each pair of numbers? Choose all the correct answers. So again, statements, all the correct answers. They're looking for more than one answer, my friend. All right, so the first thing that I have to do to take a look at number 1 is I have to turn this into standard form. So right now it's an expanded form, and I'm going to do that little trick that I just showed you. I'm going to go ahead and stack them and add them. Now again, if you're really good at this, you can just convert it in your head. I'm okay with that. But I think on a test, I would probably want to do this, especially because there's a trick in here. And I just found it. Look, there's nothing in the hundreds place. Nothing. Look, we have the 100,000s, the 10,000s, the thousands. I don't have anything lining up here. I have my 10s and my 1s. So if we add them, we get 5, 4, 0, 3, 2, 9. Okay, so that's what this is. And now I need to compare it to that number. So I need to compare, now again, this whole thing became this. 923, 45. So let me say it correctly now. 923,045. If we have to compare them, why don't we go ahead and stack them? So we already have 1 here. I'm going to just rewrite that right here. And then we're going to stack this one under it. 4. Oops, I don't want to make a silly mistake. 06. And again, same, different. This one's bigger, which means this number is bigger, which means that this number is bigger. So this one actually looks good. It said it has it correct. That 923,406 is larger than 923,045. So that's a correct answer. But again, we know there's more than one correct answer. So let's take a look at the next one. So here we're comparing 923,406 with 923,600. And a lot of you might say, well, my 100,000s are the same, my 10,000s are the same, my thousands are the same. But when I get over here, this 100 is bigger, so he should be bigger, so that is wrong. But let's go ahead and do the right thing, and let's stack them and compare them. So I'm going to take this number, 923,406, and stack it over 923,600. Same, different. 6 is bigger than 4, so this number is bigger. And that would be this one. Uh-oh, that is definitely wrong. Okay, let's look at C. So for C, it says compare 923,406 with 923,406. They're the same. I just said the same number. You could stack them if you wanted to, but if you read them and they're the exact same number, I think it's pretty safe to go ahead and circle it. All right, let's take a look at this next one. So for this next one, I'm wondering how many people just looked at it and knew the answer. Because in the 100,000s, there is a very big difference. Just look at the 100,000. 900,000 versus 200,000. Clearly different. Clearly not equal. So that one's gone. And again, you can stack them and compare them that way. That would be fine. All right, next one. 923,406 is greater than 923,097. So let's go ahead and stack these. So let's go down here. So we have 923,406. We're going to stack that over 923,097. So now let's go ahead. These are the same, so we did our 100,000s, our 10,000s are the same, our thousands are the same. Now we move into the hundreds, and when we take a look at the hundreds, 4 is bigger than 0. 4 is much bigger than 0. So now what we know is that this is the larger number. And if I take a look here, that number is definitely the larger number. So I'm going to go ahead and circle it. All right, so let's go on to the last one of these. So for this one, it wants us to compare 923,406 with 923,098. So let's go ahead and stack them. 923,406. That's this one, and now we're going to stack this one. 923,098. And now I can go ahead and compare them. So when I compare 9 and 9, they're the same. When I compare 2 and 2, they're the same. 3 and 3 are the same. This is where I hit my first difference, and this is the hundreds. You could go ones, tens, hundreds if you wanted. And here I see 4 is bigger than 0, so that means that the number that has that 4 is bigger. So 923,406 is greater than 923,098. Good job, my friends. All right, so now what we know is that this one's bigger. Let's see if they did it correctly here. Nope, they have it backwards, so that is an incorrect answer. All right, we are rolling into the last question on here. I'm really excited. So this is a nice word problem. So remember, we want to read it carefully. We want to make sure that we answer the questions. And I'm kind of curious, did I ever go back? Where is it? Hold on, I'm looking at my questions here. I feel like I didn't answer a question before. I didn't. And number 3, my friends, I never wrote the actual answer. Look at this. I hope you guys busted me on this when you were watching the video and you're like, Dr. C, you didn't answer it right. And you're right. Remember, I even labeled that I had 2 different things to answer. So, which comparison of the visitor, oh no, but it is here. My bad. So it is right here. That's why I didn't do it. Because they included it as part of the answer. So we did cover both of them. Sorry, and I'm not going to go back and edit this because it is late at night and I want to finish these videos up. So here we go. Number 5. Let's get this done and make sure we answer all the questions they're asking. So here it says that Oak Elementary School raises $13,246 for local animal shelters. Pine Elementary School raises $13,410 for the shelters. Use greater than, less than, or equal to write a comparison of the amounts that the 2 schools raise. So that's the first thing we have to do. Which school raises more money? Show your work. So we again have 2 things we have to do. First, we have to write a comparison of the amounts that the 2 schools raise. And then second, we have to say which school raises more money. So we do have 2 questions. So again, the best way for us to do this is we're going to take these. Oh, they're already stacked for us. Look at that. How kind of them. Now let me say this. If you start working in here, it's going to get really crowded and messy, and I'm concerned that I won't be able to read your work. So I'm going to suggest to you, I gave you all this space on these papers. I'm going to suggest to you that you actually work down here and you're going to stack them. So I'm going to go ahead and restack them here in a space where I have more space. And then let's go ahead and compare them and see which one is larger. So these are the same, these are the same. Remember, we start all the way on the left with the largest place value. If it's the same, we move over 1. These are the same, so we move over 1. And when we get to the hundreds here, what I can see is that 4 is bigger than 2, so the bottom one is the greater one. So let's do the first thing. Let's write a comparison. So I'm going to go ahead and write that first number, 13,246. And then I'm going to write the other number, 13,410. And what I have to show is that this is the greater number. So I have to do it like that. So now it says, which school raises more money? That was the second piece of this. Well, whoever raised the 13,410 earned more money. And who was that? Well, here's that 13,410. It was Pine Elementary, so I need to write that. Pine Elementary raised more money. There we go. All right. And we're done. So, as a quick reminder, my friends, when you are comparing two numbers, please either stack them or put them in a place value chart, or if you are really adept, and that means really good, adroit, adept, at using expanded form to compare them, you are definitely allowed to do that as long as you're really good at it. You need to make sure that you are choosing the way that's going to be the most efficient and always gives you the correct answer type problem, or solution, I should say. So again, remember, we like to stack them up carefully, so our 1s are over our 1s, our 10s are over our 10s, and so on. And then we start on the left-hand side to compare the numbers. So remember that when we do that, we compare, starting with the left, and then we look to see if things are the same or different, and if they're the same, we can move over one position to the right. So just remember that. All right, we are going to go over all of this together in our classroom, so I'll see you in our Google Classroom, I'll see you at Office Meets, but we'll get a chance to go over this together also. All right, I hope everyone's having a great night.